Memorial Day, everyone. Let's just take the time to thank everyone, all the men and women, for their service to this country. Thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication to serving our country each and every day. So, thank you all, and happy Memorial Day to everybody. Today, we are looking at the aftermath of yesterday's severe weather here with the storm reports. And you can see we had a lot of wind reports, 484 wind reports across the Ohio Valley, parts of the Mid-South, and the Tennessee Valley yesterday. That even trickled over into the Carolinas. We had 123 hail reports. 27 of those were of 2-inch diameter or larger, and 14 damaging tornadoes yesterday, even a tornado up in southern Wisconsin. So it was a very busy day yesterday, and it's going to likely be another busy day today as we have a slight risk extending as far north as New York State and as far south here as Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia. So we have a large area of a level 2 out of 5, a slight risk for severe weather again today, and we're going to be diving into everything that you need to know. So if you want to know about that, make sure to subscribe to the channel here. We'll keep you updated on the latest weather information right at your fingertips if you do become a subscriber. Also, make sure to press the like button down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those after the video. So let's look first here at our heat as well. So we're not only looking at severe weather, we have heat advisories in the orange and excessive heat warnings here in this pink shaded color across parts of Texas and Louisiana, even a couple counties with heat advisories into southern Mississippi here. Let's look at your high temperatures across the board as we go through Memorial Day today. Cooler to the north across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes, temperatures there into the 60s. Beautiful 70s there into the lower Midwest, the Ohio Valley, parts of the Mid-Atlantic. And then the further south you go, it's really all about the excessive heat here, and it's really excessive down here in southern Texas. Temperatures topping out in the Brownsville region around 105, 108 degree range, and we could be seeing heat index values over 120 degrees Fahrenheit here across South Texas. But not only that region, 110 there in Houston, 106 in Tyler, Texas, 108 with the heat index in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this afternoon. So make sure to drink plenty of fluids and stay hydrated if you do venture outdoors in those areas. Now back to the severe weather. We do have a slight risk of severe weather again for New York State up here into the U.S.-Canadian border, all the way back down here through Virginia, the Delmarva region, into the Carolinas, Georgia, and southern portions of Alabama, even a marginal risk extending back there through Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, even western Oklahoma, another marginal risk up here in the Midwest today. What we're mainly looking at here is damaging winds that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, especially in this yellow shaded color across the eastern portion of the country. Looking here at the severe hail, we could be seeing quarter-size hail or larger as well, and a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out, especially over here into portions of eastern Pennsylvania into New Jersey, the Delmarva region, so Maryland, Delaware, down into portions of eastern and coastal Virginia, into portions of eastern and coastal North Carolina. That tornado threat trickles down into South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and even a small area in central and north Texas that does have a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile point. So looking here across the eastern U.S. at the main zone of severe weather, dew points are into the 60s and 70s as we go into this afternoon. That will contribute to at least weak to moderate instability. Now, the instability is not nearly as strong as what we've seen the last couple of days, but it's strong enough to support severe weather. So as we go through late this morning, already seeing still some ongoing activity. This is from late last night. That continues to trickle down across Alabama, Georgia, the western Carolinas there, and then into western portions and central Virginia. So from Roanoke down there toward Asheville, North Carolina, west of Columbia, into the Atlanta region, maybe back toward Montgomery, Alabama. Those areas are seeing some wet weather as we go through the morning. Going into the afternoon, that will push east. We'll see redevelopment of a few scattered storms across the board into the eastern U.S. this afternoon. Now, note, everybody won't see a storm today. It's not going to be a widespread line of storms. We're just going to see pop-up storms out ahead of the main cold front, and if you do get under one of those stronger storm cells, they could pose a risk for damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. And then as we go into early Tuesday morning, that shifts off to the east as the cold front moves off into the western Atlantic basin. And looking at the rest of the country for Memorial Day here, with the wet weather out east, we have a couple more showers and storms possible across areas to our north as well into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa, especially into western Wisconsin, maybe up here into the upper peninsula and northern lower Michigan as well, as this low pressure system occludes, and we even have a new low pressure system developing as well. So we're not really looking at anything too heavy up in this region, just some spotty showers and storms. Definitely don't go canceling any of your outdoor plans this afternoon. There will be plenty of dry time. Just make sure you're watching the radar across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes. Could be seeing up to a couple tenths of an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch of rain. The heaviest rain by far will be up here into portions of Quebec, Canada, down into northeast, into the New England region and the mid-Atlantic, where we could be seeing over an inch of rain in parts of that region later today. Now, as we go into Tuesday, May 28th, another slight risk of severe weather here across portions of southeastern New Mexico and west central Texas. We even have a marginal risk, kind of a sneaky marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 up here into western Montana and northern Idaho as well. That will mainly be for wind, and we could be seeing some significant wind down here, over 75 miles per hour in west central Texas as we go into Tuesday. Big hail as well, over 2, maybe 3-inch diameter hailstones across southeastern New Mexico and west Texas. And we have a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25 mile of any given point in this area. So Abilene, San Angelo, Midland, all the way up to Lubbock there, and even to the Hobbs, New Mexico region, we do have that potential for an isolated tornado. So here's the setup for Tuesday. We have a little bit of a dry line here, not a perfectly sharp dry line by any means, but there definitely will be moisture advecting north from the Gulf of Mexico into the 60s Tuesday afternoon. That will already contribute to pretty strong instability out here, over 3,000, maybe locally over 4,000 joules per kilogram. That's on the upper end of the scale here. So storms already going, potentially a couple isolated storms near the Red River Valley Tuesday morning. Those will grow upscale into a little cluster near and north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, heading toward Texarkana, maybe in toward portions of Little Rock as we go into Tuesday afternoon. Our attention turns to the west. We have isolated supercells back over here into West Texas from Lubbock down to Midland here, maybe the Fort Stockton area as we go into Tuesday afternoon. Those will grow upscale into clusters as well and produce potential wind damage, some very large hail, and maybe even an isolated tornado or two as we go into late Tuesday afternoon, but especially here Tuesday evening. And this will also lead to some pretty heavy rain. So as those storms grow into big clusters as they move into central Texas, closer to the I-35 corridor here in East Texas, they will be able to drop a lot of rain. There's a lot of moisture here out across central and north Texas here. We've had a lot of rain this year. We're going to get more rain as we go into Tuesday. 1 to 3 inches of rain is possible here, so there is a slight risk for flash flooding across the Red River Valley into southern Oklahoma, but also north central Texas as we go into the day there on Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, the same type of pattern is in play. We got a low pressure system over the Rockies, bringing some moisture in across portions of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, but also across the plains. So we do that all over again as we go into Wednesday. Thursday, you can see the plains lighting up with showers and storms, mainly with the peak heating of the day. And then as we go into Friday, May 31st, you can see a lot of that from the upper Midwest all the way back down there into southern plains toward Texas. More showers and storms. Not any widespread severe weather outbreaks or anything, but I wouldn't rule out some marginal slight risk days for severe weather as we go through this period. We will be adding up the rainfall totals. So here's Wednesday, May 29th through Friday, May 31st. Look at up and down the plains from the Dakotas all the way down to Texas here and everywhere in between, and even parts of the Midwest will be seeing over an inch or two of rain during that period from Wednesday, May 29th through Friday, May 31st to end the month, and this could give us some flash flooding risk. We have a marginal risk up here into the northern Rockies, into Montana and western North Dakota, but then the front range all the way back down toward the Arklatex as well on Wednesday, all the way up and down the plains from the Dakotas, western Minnesota, all the way down to Texas. We have a marginal risk of flash flooding on Thursday, slight risk down here in the Red River Valley vicinity. Then as we go into Friday, it's the upper Midwest all the way back toward Texas and everywhere in between. We have a marginal risk for flash flooding there as well. Let's look at the pattern as we go into early June. Here is Saturday, June 1st through the following Saturday, June 8th. Notice the heat will be building out west. A ridge, a very strong ridge of high pressure will be building out west here. A little bit of some cooler anomalies, or at least near normal temperatures across our east and southeastern portions of the U.S., and that's where the active weather will be. So that means we're going to see a lot more cloud cover. and hence that means our temperatures will be a lot cooler across these regions with more cloud cover and more precipitation. Now, this is getting into an environment that we have to be aware of, okay? So as we go into early June, we have to start talking about derechos. We're entering into derecho season here. We're already in derecho season, but we're entering deeper into derecho season here. There's two types of derechos you could see: serial derechos that are north-south, or you could see more progressive derechos. Those are usually the more intense derechos, and they usually have to, you usually have to watch those around high pressure systems. Now, you don't always have a high pressure down here in the southeast. You can have it out west like we have into early June, but you get the airflow around the high pressure is clockwise, so that means a lot of our air is going to be moving over the northern plains, the Midwest, towards the Ohio-Tennessee River Valley. And let's look at derecho frequency by month. You can see the leading month there is May, and that's currently where we're at, is 22%. That drops to 20% frequency in June, and then jumps back up to 21% frequency in July before crashing to 6% there in August. But you can see a derecho any one of the 12 months of the year. And looking at the climatology here, that would be the area favored. The Midwest, the Ohio Valley, back toward the southern plains there, you average one derecho every single year. Or the tri-state area of northeast Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, and northwestern Arkansas that average four derechos every 3 years. So pretty frequent in that area. So let's look at the setup here, the synoptics of early June. You have a trough, a very big trough in the Aleutian Islands up there into Alaska, and then a very big ridge downstream across the western part of the U.S., bringing all that heat. Well, there will likely be parts of this trough that break off and move over top of this ridge. That's the only place it has to go, is over top, right? So the upper Midwest, the lower Midwest, the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and down through the Mississippi Valley region will be in the firing line for potential derechos as we go into early June. So let's look here at the jet stream orientation on the European extended ensemble guidance here, and you can see the jet stream up and over that here into southern Canada, mostly into British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, before diving back down through portions of the upper Midwest and into the Mississippi Valley here. And look at all the instability. It's not like we're that far out from this date, right? Saturday, June 1st, there's Sunday, June 2nd. Look at all the instability building across the plains there. And there's Monday, a week from today, June 3rd, and there's tons of instability here on the upper end of this scale. So we're definitely building a lot of instability here across the plains, and over top of that, we're likely to see thunderstorm clusters that begin to develop here, your MCS pattern, your mesoscale convective system. So here we go on Saturday, June 1st. Now, don't take this to gospel like it's going to happen in your city here, what it shows right now. This will change 1.5 million times before we get here, but just giving you the general idea, we're building that instability on Saturday, so it could be a plains day for severe weather, maybe the lower Mississippi Valley. Here we go on Sunday, June 2nd. Maybe later in the day or overnight, we could see a couple clusters or lines of showers and storms. One or two of these could turn into derechos as we go into that Sunday time frame. Monday time frame comes around, there's a new cluster developing here. So that's kind of the pattern we're looking at as we're going into early June, and we want you to be aware of that, because derechos are intense, fast-moving lines of storms that produce widespread wind damage sometimes across portions of the Corn Belt, especially. We remember that in Iowa, the August derecho of 2020. I'm not saying we're going to see that this year, but that you can see the power of which derechos produce damage. So that is something we're concerned about as we go into early June. Besides that, it's going to be producing some pretty decent rains again for the Midwest, the Mississippi Valley over here into the Ohio Valley between Saturday, June 1st, and the following middle of the week there on Wednesday, June 5th. We could be seeing a few inches of rain there putting down across that region. And again, here is my weather on the go, severe weather forecast for early June, and I think the derecho potential is highest in the area here that is highlighted in red, but even the orange, we need to be watching out for the potential for derechos as we do go closer here into the early part of June. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to give the video a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Another video will be posted tomorrow to keep you updated on this and the severe weather as well throughout the week. Also, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those later on after the video here. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day out there today.